Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Friday, July 12th, 2019. Already the 12th. Oh my goodness. Of July. In fact, it's almost been a full year that I have been home. That will be, I think, as of some point next week. I forget the exact day that my flight was back home last year. Squeak, 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 squeak of Mike. So, more of the Pyanodons playthrough today. Oh joy. Good morning. Good morning. So I haven't given too much thought about what to do next, to be completely honest. Now that I've got the perhaps most efficient iron processing set up, which unfortunately it's looking like the processes after this for iron aren't actually any more efficient. In fact, might end up being less efficient than the current process, which would be a shame. So, there was an update to Pi Industry that did the exact update that I did yesterday to the game, which was change the niobium pipes to move 100 units per segment. So that was that made me smile a little bit when I saw that. It's like, huh, yeah, gee, I wonder what brought about that change. It's not as if I just streamed myself making that change just a little bit prior. Anyway, as I had said last time, so I did that update, and these pipes now hold up to 100 only versus 400 on the niobium pipes. Huzzah! Everyone has that change now, ideally. What is going to get done today? Well, I had gone out at the end of the last stream and started marking various locations to set up fuel oil power, additional power. Because right now, actually, there is something I need to go and fix that I am remembering that I didn't fix last time that I was meaning to fix. Yeah, broken small power pole. How much stuff have I destroyed? All of this would be with my car, so yeah, I've killed lots of trees, 8 poles so far, 3 niobium undergrounds, a couple of irons, yeah, about that. And I've damaged a lot more. Apparently that was a very important power pole that I just destroyed, as per usual. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to zoom in and not be as laggy. That should provide a little bit of redundancy. Can't squeeze through there. So, while Pyanodon did go about and change the pipes, because that is a pretty simple modification, the acetylene is still untouched. I am beginning to believe that everything with the acetylene is exactly as intended. So, tholins it is at this point. I don't quite agree about tholins being more joule efficient for energy, than the calcium carbide chain for it, but there is a reason to do the calcium carbide chain later when you actually have something to do with the slacked lime that you get out of that process. So the slacked lime, I went a little bit too far. I'm actually going to my fuel oil right over here because I forgot to close this loop, which means that when I am consuming more power from this, I actually have a bit, would end up with a bit too much fluid in the pipes. I would end up potentially backing up on steam at some point, or water. So, wanted to make that loop closed because I'm not voiding out the excess water at the moment. I might want to set up a overflow valve for the excess water, but looks like things are fine for the moment. Also, I officially no longer need 4 of these. Actually, I do need that pipe. I no longer need 4 cooling towers because the cooling towers were changed to be able to process 200 units per second from what they were, which was, I think 133 and a third or something like that was what they were. They were less than what is produced in Steam. So now it is more, so now it's safe to do 1-to-1 and even less than 1-to-1 at a certain point. Okay, speaking of which, where do I want to extend some stuff first? So these require coke. And they require fuel to operate, but they require coke. So whatever I do, I have to send in coke. Looks like I actually have quite a bit of demand for coke even further upstream. I still need to run the 3rd lane of my coke production down. So, wherever I go to set up this fuel oil, I would need coke to actually start using that fuel oil, unless I pipe the fuel oil wherever, like to a more centralized location where I can send the coke. The alternative is make the coke locally out of a local coal patch, which is likely what I'm going to do up here because of this 15 mil coal. And that'll be a relatively simple copy-paste. The main thing is I would have to run power lines all the way up. Although this is useful because we've got this 20 mil salt that I can also tap along the way. Because I am going to need a lane of salt. At least 1 lane of salt in my production going forward. How much is this again? 20 mil salt. Yeah, that's quite a bit. But again, the issue is I would also have to belt the salt to the bus, which probably makes this one more viable. or I can transfer over one of my existing salts that I'm tapping into providing the salt on the bus and make saline water out of a further away salt and do pipe from there. So we have lots of options available at the moment of things to do. Lots of things to do. Also, this sadly is a medium patch, not a small. And this small is only 95.9 per second, so the resource density is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Anyway, what am I going to tap? Do I really want to run a Coke out here? Well, I technically already have a Coke run out to here. So this belt is already Coke. I think I would be comfortable with setting up a power station out here and piping in fuel oil, because this fuel oil production is very simple. It's just crude in and oil out. Fuel oil out. Now, which is the more resource dense? Is it the crude or is it the fuel oil? It is the fuel oil at a ratio of 2 to 1, so it is more beneficial to convert the crude into fuel oil before piping it. Now, before I head out and start doing all of this, I am going to need 8 small derricks to tap into this one. I then need another 6 up there, and I would need 7 pump jacks, vanilla pump jacks, to tap into that set of pink up there, and I can make vanilla pump jacks. So let's see. I did say 8, right? Yep, 8. Make all of them. I might have a couple hanging around in various places. Now, note that the Pyanodon pump jack is the ability to pull up oil from anywhere. In fact, I think I'm going to make one just to show what it costs, because I think this costs drill heads. Now that would be an interesting bit of theory crafting to do. Is it net positive energy to pull crude oil from pump jacks? Is it worth the inputs onto these pump jacks to get oil wherever to feed power? Because if so, that is a relatively simple infinite power loop. I would hope that it wouldn't be viable. If it is, that'd be great. I wouldn't have to worry at all about having to go big distances looking for oil, for fuel oil. It's likely very not worth it if you're actually using the oil for other things besides making power, but if this pump jack stuff is a net positive, that would be most ideal. So this will require small parts and drilling fluid. And there's a recipe for a different drilling fluid and drill heads. Uh-oh. Actual craft time caused a non-recoverable error. Well then, that's a thing. Pyanodon, it appears that actual craft time does not like your implementation of your pump jacks. That's, not good. At all. That's not good. I don't know why actual craft time doesn't like that particular recipe for that building. Well, so we can look up the drilling fluid 2 and oh, is a product. Oh. Fracking. Right. Okay. So this is lots of things. Yeah, that's I'm just going to say right now that is not a net positive. And absolutely not worth the effort. So yet again, having to go back out here. To close this loop. Alright, so the other thing is I'm going to need... So how many per second is this? 498. Close to 500. So that'll be 2 of these. So I need 6 powerhouses total. No, don't make that when you're wanting to handcraft the circuits. Please do not handcraft circuits. I probably don't have enough... Oh, iron. Well, iron. As it turns out, I've now got 2 lanes worth. Alright, well that's the 6 powerhouses, and then... How many combustion turbines? That's the next question. So, with the combustion turbines... The cat has joined me. And has decided to groom right next to me. So with the combustion turbines, these consume up to 60 units of fluid when they are sending out the full demand. So at 6, and then these only produce 50 per second. So it's 5 to 6, and since I'm going to have 6, well, it is a 5 to 6 ratio in that you need 6 powerhouses to feed 5 combustion turbines. So that's the ratio I'll have, so I need to get 5 combustion turbines. Now those are right here. Glorious combustion turbines. Now, as soon as I get those circuit board 2s, I could make the Mark 2s of stuffs. What about of the powerhouse? That's going to need advanced small parts as well. I'll have the stainless steel at that point to get to the circuit 2s. theoretically, that's everything we need. I need. I do want to go over and pick up at least another stack of undergrounds. Okay, going right along. May want a bit more regular pipe as well, so I'll grab at least a stack of regular pipe, as well as... Oh, I need to make more! I've been going through my undergrounds quite a lot. Get that tuft out of your mouth, kitty. The cat grooms himself and then ends up with a tuft of hair in his mouth that, if you don't do anything about, will just stay there. And forever, basically, or until he eats. He'll just carry around a tuft. Anyway, going around this. Still need to set this up. Oh, just you wait. Once I set up my spare power here, which this extra power is simply so that I could run some tholin-acetylene, but do I really necessarily need that tholin-acetylene immediately, or should I work towards non-zero of other stuff? Especially when I already have 50 per second on acetylene in the albeit less efficient process. I'm gonna give that a big meh. Maybe. Maybe I should be focusing on that. Oh, and there's conveniently also water here. Oh, and I guess I do technically need a few cooling towers as well. Okay, let's see here. It's 6 powerhouses. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Plop them right here. You are converting fuel oil. I want to look at kerosene because... So, the fuel oil converts coke and fuel oil into 800C combustion mixture. The kerosene is hydrogen and kerosene without the input of coke, so you could use whatever fuel you want to feed the fuel here. An even denser fuel value system. Doesn't necessarily have to be coke. Kerosene is made through titanium tetrachloride and low distillates, or heavy oil, or through nichrome, hydrogen and crude, and that would also give you diesel, which can make 800C combustion mixture when added with a fuel rod Mark 1 at a tech I don't have. But diesel looks like it's needed for even higher processing recipes. So the thing is, this is 100 heavy oil into 40 kerosene, which in the end is more crude oil required, plus it consumes hydrogen, which is free, but you don't need to consume the 1.33 per second on the coke times 6. That may be worth it. That may be worth it, but the way that I'm getting heavy oil right now is still burning coke for steam to steam crack into heavy oil. So it might be a bit of a wash. I still may end up consuming that much coke anyway to get enough heavy oil to feed the kerosene. And then I would also need to pipe in the hydrogen. So for now, I am not going to bother with kerosene. It is a bit more complex than what I'm willing to deal with at the moment. It's technically only one extra step to get into kerosene, and then routing over the hydrogen that I'm making already through my electrolysis line. Thing is, to make the heavy oil, you don't necessarily need to be burning coke either to get to the steam. I may try that out at some point, but my main concern is that it's only 40 units of kerosene per 100 units of heavy oil. I wanna... No! Go... That needs to have a X button or something on it to close it. It's like this, I need to have a button that I can push to get rid of that. That's my one major complaint with what is it really used for. That opens the loop. Get this. Place. Pretty sure it's only 5 that are needed. Yes. It is only 5. Alright, well, there's There's water in the pipes now. I'm uncertain if it's going to be quite enough water if I break the loop here. Now, oh, I need to remember that I can't break the loop that way. I've sort of tapped into a line that I need. So if I'm going to do anything with closing the loop, it would have to be by doing this in this fashion, so that in order to break the loop, I have to do that. And that will break the loop without impacting anything else. And then it's just put down the 5 combustion turbines. Ta-da! So the combustion turbines do feed into each other. In case you didn't realize, they have double arrows on their input-output. That connects it to the network. I also need the... I want to use the long-handed inserters for this. I guess I can. Save my beautiful underground belts. Only issue being, it's like, can you really feed... It's like, do you have 8 per second available at the end here? That's the main question, is, do I actually have 8 per second available? You can't stretch for me? Yeah, stretch for me. Stretch across. Alright. Do I have enough big electric poles? I think I do to stretch down to there. Go on a little adventure. This will near enough double my potential energy production, for reference. Just doing this by itself will produce a lot of energy. Shallow water. Am I even oriented right? Not really. I'm oriented right if I want to tap into that beautiful uranium at some point. Wonderfully oriented to take care of the uranium at some point. Alright, here we are. Now, did I happen to bring along DDCs? Not really, no. Because I will need 4 of those. Grab my derricks. Let's see, how do I want to... do this? Well, with the length of these undergrounds, let's just define, hey, we're gonna have an arrangement like that. This will do. This will work. And then the destructive distillation columns can exist right up here. Can I have these directly next to each other? No, I cannot. Yes, I can. You are making the wonderful and glorious fuel oil. I can absolutely have you next to each other. Now each of these is 100. I could add another 50 per second on the fuel oil if I really wanted to, because I will be overproducing here by 198. Ish. Attach. And fuel oil. Yay! Yay for fuel oil. Now I have the absolute pleasure of running more pipe. Sadly, you cannot do diagonals on pipes. It is highly unfortunate that. This needs to go all the way over here. So when I go over what is my landmark of reference, that zinc ore, I think, will be my landmark of reference. You know, I think these shallows are the same slowdown speed as those sections of the volcanic zone. Ow. At least there aren't as many rocks out in this direction. Ah! No. There we go. Oh, apparently that's not stretching. That's unfortunate. Alright, and then I want to run this pipe up, I guess, on this line. So I need to run at least one more length. There we go. See, this is what these niobium pipes are really meant for, and having them be at the same flow rate as iron is what makes them ideal for their use. They come at the cost of being a bit more fragile. Alright, you are all operating fully. In fact, technically speaking, this should be backing up. Alright, so there needs to be a bit more of an input on the water. And then I can break the loop. So right now I'm not demanding enough for this to be at full consumption. So that's why my mixture is going to back up. But I now have 5 by 24.8 by 0.8, or 99.2. So I now have an extra 99.2 available megawatts in my power system, which is fantastic. That is definitely way more than enough to power. In fact, that's enough to power a whole 150 per second on, or nearly a full 150 per second of acetylene via tholins. Definitely a trade worth making, in my humble opinion. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to set up one of those lines to get another 50 per second of acetylene. Where am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I'm going to need to make a lot of stuff for tholins to do this. That means I'm going to need to pick up a lot more Nextlit somewhere. I placed down my tholin machines. I forget exactly where. I think I placed them down up here near my thingy. That's not the tholin machines. That's my rayon machines, I think. Not my tholins. Where did I put my tholin machines? Don't want to have to remake any of them. I'm not holding on to them. I think I'm not holding on to them. So I have to think, where have I placed down bunches of stuff? Well, I'm at a loss. I don't know where I put them. Oh well. Oh wells. Don't remember where I put them. Probably at way up top. I'm gonna go pick up some Nexilate right now, so we can check additional thingies along the way. Feels good having all the power in the world. Is it really not in here? They're really not there. I know, because they're drawing icons. They're not pictures of the sprite. They're drawings. Which actually I prefer. Being honest here, I think I prefer these drawings of the sprites than these actual icons that are representative of what the machines actually look like. Because these sprites very clearly provide information of what they are a lot better. Like, this is an oil derrick. That's a very clear picture of a derrick in my eyes. And that's a pump jack. That's very clearly a pump jack. What in the hell is this? And what does this do? It's a thing that produces methane, and yet the icon should somewhere on it have a CH4 on it, I think. I think it needs to have some indication of what it produces on the icons. Heck, I think all the icons should probably have an indication of what they produce. Hey, I now have enough lead to produce solder. Isn't that beautiful? That is a beautiful. It's B-A-E, beautiful. I think I have enough Nexilate to make these tholin stuffs. Oh, please, please do not make me have to make the small parts. That's not ideal. Looks like I am not making enough on the aluminium plates. Apparently all my aluminium is being used. I grabbed a lot of Nexilate plates. Where is my... Here is my line of circuits. Circuits! Glorious circuits! I'm probably just gonna go where I am buffering things. Head on down to my buffers. Also, my science is currently bottlenecked by my production of glass, which is currently being bottlenecked by my production of coal gas. yet another thing to tack on to the list of things I need to get done. I need to transfer coal gas production to coal gas via the heavy oil and zinc oxide, or whatever the heck it's called. Chloride, or whatever. Chloride? Yes, I think that's the case. Iron. La dee dee da. 2 lines of iron. That's 8. Oh, more. More of these. 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're halfway there. Sixteen, 17, 18, 19. $21. Oh. I'll just grab more of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 30. Then I need 9 tholin plants for 1, 2. Glass. Ooh. 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. 8, 9. There we go. That will be the equivalent of a little over, just like slightly over 50 per second of acetylene, consuming just over 30 megawatts of power to produce acetylene, which still isn't going to be enough acetylene to get my lead fully going. Sadly, it is not enough to get the lead going 100% of the time. By the way, acetylene is like my first item on the bus, on the fluid bus. Yeah, it's the very first thing on the fluid bus, and have I actually run it northwards yet? I don't think so. No. So I'm gonna run this northward and do my tholin stuff up here. And this will put me in a decent enough spot to convert my heavy oil into coal gas. Ooh, I am out. I am oot. I am oot. Out so soon. Well, back I go to grab more of my niobium pipe. I cannot believe that I am actually going to be using tholins, but as it turns out, this is more efficient than the actual acetylene through calcium carbide. Who'da thunk it? Who'da thunk it? It is actually more efficient this way. Joule for joule of energy being demolished. Alright, let's grab 2 of you. And 2 of you. I should probably be doing that automation on the actual bus now that I actually have the niobium run on the bus, but meh. Meh. Not gonna bother. Just like I should replace all of the other iron now with the niobium, but lazy. Laziness. Oh, that's not nice that that's dead so soon. It has a ways to go, though, before having to worry about it. This is just to make some saline water. That's just some saline. Ooh, yeah, that's why my aluminium's dead as well, is because I just don't have enough coal gas to feed everything I need coal gas for. Which is why that will be the very next thing. Once securing this acetylene, I am making more clean nextlet than I am able to process. Oh, that's why. At an inserter without power. I want to leave some space to expand that nextlet going forward. To expand with the more efficient processes for nextlet. I didn't think I was going to use the ground borers for anything, and yet here we are with nextlet ground boring. Yeah, ground boring nextlet and killing off my tailings for nextlet. These are just so powerful. So powerful at the cost of, honestly, not a lot. Some drill heads, some lubricant, and some coal gas. You can have nextlet as much as you really want or desire. So, tholin! Atmospheric generators of these guys. Tholins are solids. No, they are a fluid. They are a fluid. Which is just fine by me. Uh-oh. It's my arch nemesis. A patch of rocks. All rocks must die. Seriously, though, there is a command to, destroy all of the things. That's create, that is... destroy. Entity destroy. Replace name with whatever... sand, rock, big, red. If I hit enter right now, all of them would disappear, and I wouldn't have to mine them, but, we're not going to do that. Just like if I do this command, I would be able to reveal the entire map up to 2,000 squares away from origin. Not squares, but 2,000 tiles away from origin, or chunks. I don't know how it defines 2,000. I think it's chunks from the origin, which is around here. So 2,000 in each direction it would reveal if I run that command. I do run that command on my own personal games at times to just skip having to go out and hunt for resources. Guess I'm going to store more Nexalit. Oops. Hitting shift and space, by the way, shows you the grid, which actually, the bold lines indicate chunks. So this is a chunk, this is a chunk, this is a chunk. And the game spawns things in chunks, a certain number of chunks away from what you currently have revealed. Now, when you are paused like this, you can go to the map, but you can't move the map with WASD, but what you can do is you can zoom in on different locations, and you can see what the tiles are like in those various locations when you hover and zoom. Similar in functionality to dealing with Adobe products, Illustrator, Photoshop, and stuff like that. They have the same sort of mechanics when zooming in and out, which can be frustrating at times. Oh, there's a rock there. Alright, is this 30 or do I have another 10? Oh, I have another 7. $30. So that's gonna be 60 underground, pipe to ground. Oh boy. It's odd because the iron pipes are called pipe to ground. The niobium pipes are called underground pipes. So I am constantly going to be referring to them as the opposite things. It's not enough of a gap, but I'm not going to be bothered. It's a little odd having the pipes hidden like this. Probably should have just done the pipes on the bottom. Oh well. In fact, the sprite has a pipe on the bottom if you do rotate the building. Oh, and on the left and right for if you rotate the building. Thing is, the game sprite for the pipe input doesn't cover it very well. because it's not a circle. Alright, so then it's just a matter of 30, or lots of power. Lots of power. Also, I shouldn't put these there. I should put these up here for better spacing. All the balloons. So many balloons. What's a little off about this is that for every 50 acetylene that I want, I have to have a line of 30 balloons like this. It's like, well, for every 50 acetylene. Yeah, I've got plenty of power for these. Glorious tholins. So then it's 9 tholin plants. Making whatever I want. 9 would make whatever I want. These consume the exact same amount of tholins at the exact same speeds. Why anyone would need to make methane out of tholins, I do not know, because the moondrop thing exists. Maybe if you're not using the full pie suite. I don't know. No idea. There is a an argument for chlorine. There is an argument maybe for acetone. I don't even know why one would need carbon dioxide at all. Carbon dioxide is free. Maybe if water is really hard to find. I don't know. In order to actually... You always start with water. There's always... Even if you otherwise turn water off, you start with a starting water patch. So... Unless you've purposefully stymied yourself and decided to not use water for some reason, that would be the case. Then CO2 wouldn't be free, nor would methane be particularly available, but acetylene is what we're doing, because this is the one that I know is more efficient to do this way. Beautiful and wonderful acetylene. This doesn't happen to align, does it? Nope. None of it aligns, and it's always off on the exact same amount. Cool. There we go. Converting the tholins into non-zero amounts of acetylene. Now, I am by no means going to go and break down what I'm currently using to produce acetylene. That sounds like a terrible idea. As much as it is inefficient, I do still need that acetylene. Alright. Now, as long as actual craft time is accurate, we should be good. In terms of the ratios, 30 to 9. 30 to 9, and you get 52.5. Rather than just 50. And looking at my power, we can see, hey, I'm fine. I increased it by 30 point something megawatts by doing this to get an extra 50 acetylene per second. It's still not enough acetylene per second to fuel the entirety of my lead line. I'm actually still 50 per second short to fully fuel my lead line. But it should still be enough to... It's enough to double what I'm currently making of it, but it should be enough to fully cover my demand. In fact, even now, even before adding that, I was backing up, so I now have more headroom to add additional demand on my lead, which is going to happen as soon as I start demanding the solder to any degree. So now that that is taken care of, what machine do I need for this recipe? An FTS reactor is what I need. Oh, then you need concrete. Do I have any on me? Of course I don't. So I have to go all the way back down my bus. Drink more of my coffee along the way. Concrete is just one of those things that I started automating quite some time ago and haven't really done too much with because I just wanted it to stockpile. And, yeah, it continues to stockpile. I am not doing anything with this copper line, by the way. I can just demolish that whenever. Speaking of which... Yeah, it's right here. I did do a split off of my iron ore to fuel this. FTS reactors. What tab are you under? You, I think... You are in coal processing. So, let's see how many of you I need. That's an interesting building. I haven't made one of you yet. You can make heavy oil out of oleochemicals. Out of lard and nichrome. Is that tall oil that you also produce? Oh, I can do syngas out of heavy oil. Don't know why I would need to do natural gas though. I've got lots of available natural gas. You can convert tailings and aromatics into crude. That might be useful at some point. Coal briquettes are a decent use of coal dust. 180 megajoule fuel value, which at 1 briquette per second of consumption is 180 megawatts per 1 per second. Huh. My factory is currently 120, so it's like, yeah, that's less than 1 of these per second can fuel my whole factory. Oh, joy. If I had the infrastructure to do so at 100% efficiency outputs. So this is the recipe that I wanted to do. This actually gives me tar, so I will go from a process that consumes tar to produce coal gas to a process that actually gives me more tar. That's going to be funny. So I am going to be limited on my zinc chloride for this, more than likely. Oh, I'm apparently going to be quite limited by the water. So at best, per line of water, I can do 7. And then I'm going to need a bunch of cooling towers to get the water back. So fortunately, it's a closed loop. So that I can basically ignore the water for now because it's a closed loop. How much heavy oil am I making? If I can see it. Heavy oil through cracking. 100 every 3. 100 per second. That's how much I'm making of the heavy oil. So I could take everything spare that's not currently being used for lubricant and just convert it into coal gas. I can also, I do believe I have some spare crude oil throughput from that oil patch. So this patch is 303.8 per second. I'm consuming 200 per second here. These are unfortunately consuming the other 300, so I don't have any headroom there if this runs at 100% efficiency. So I may further expand this, tap this, and run down the power, just completely go overkill on my power. I'm going to actually mark, do I mark it with the fuel oil symbol? What do I mark this with? Where is the combustion mixture symbol? And then as close as I can get, do the fuel oil. Fuel oil combustion mixture. That's what I'm doing there. This is so that I can free up an additional setup for heavy oil. Free up my oil for heavy oil. Please tell me this is... I found them. I found them. I also found additional pipe. Okay, so I'm going to need to plan out some stuff here. I'm going to need to make some buildings. We are going on a bit of a hike. This is going to be a bit of a hike. I'm going to need just a bit more than that on the undergrounds, because I'm going to have to get fuel oil brought down I'm going to need crude brought down, and I'm going to need the fuel oil brought over and down to here. There is water in the way, so this would be going all the way over and then down. It doesn't really matter how I route it. It's because it's so unfortunate that there's no diagonal means of moving pipes. Anyway. Regardless, I'm going to need 7 of those and 6 of these guys. I need more tin. And then what is the combined total here? That's 439 and 589. 1,028. Then here there was a spare. There was a spare 96.9 that wasn't being consumed in the production of fuel oil. If I add the 5th DDC onto here to consume the rest of that fuel oil, the rest of that crude into fuel oil, and if I convert all of this into fuel oil, let's see, so I would have the crude oil, that would be 1124.9. That's not quite 1200, or divisible by at least 200. So looks like I don't need to do that extra DDC. Looks like I'll be consuming 1,000 divided by 200. 10? Is that that's 10 destructive distillation columns. I will need 10 of these. Maybe? Is it 10? I think I'm off on my math. like, a lot, but we shall see. Let me just... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's another death. I killed it! Another kill! Added, tacked onto the list of things that are killed, have been killed. Right. 200 to 100 out. And 3 consume 100. Okay. Okay. Good to know. So yes, 10 DDCs. Converting 1,000 crude into 500 fuel oil. And then going back to get all of my undergrounds. And a pit stop to also grab big electric poles. Now those are being made not near my mediums. Oddly enough. All of those. My big electric poles are being made where I have my niobium, I think, being processed into the niobium iron alloy. Or close to there, anyway. Somewhere nearby. Because these guys require niobium. Ah, I did it here. Yeah, right after the niobium iron alloy. Why I'm not really using my car for much of anything is a little bit beyond me. Probably because I keep losing my car, changing out between cars. Very, 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 very often. If I do this extension, I'm also going to need to shove additional coke down to my primary combustion line. Let's see, I would be making 500 units more of fuel oil, which would be another 5 of these setups. Jeez. $15. Yeah, that would be consuming every little bit of coke I have. Maybe I don't do this setup immediately. Maybe I just, set that aside for the moment. Set that aside a little bit and, focus a bit on some other things first. Because I'm pretty sure I at least have the energy right now to break this. consuming the 200. And once this cycles through, all of its combustion mixture, and it stops producing energy, and I can break it all down. I could use those elsewhere, because I'm pretty sure I don't need this particular setup at the moment, considering I just added a bunch. Somewhere I should have a box with multi-purpose crackers. I should have a box somewhere with multi-purpose crackers in it. Because at one point I did put down enough to consume all of the crude oil down here, converting it into heavy oil. I just don't remember if I put it in a box down here. I also had a longer line of boilers. Those are loud. Need a line of 20 boilers to feed that. And then I need to compare how much coal gas I'm currently using, or producing out of tar. Because I know what I'm currently producing out of tar is less than what's needed for the full system. So if I go over here and I see that I have 3 gasifiers, that's 200 per second on the coal gas. And that is an insufficient amount. This guy, in order to get to 200 per second on the coal gas, well, I would need 8, and I would actually be needing more than what I could produce. Oh boy. I thought this was supposed to be more efficient. Well, I'll do what I can for the moment. I'll need more FTS reactors. Fortunately, that's all I really need. I'm gonna hook this up by my zinc, bring up my coal gas line, which is line 2. Looks like it's already been brought up a fair ways. Has it been brought up the entire way? Quite possibly. It was brought up after niobium. Question is, how far up did I bring it? I brought it up here. Because I needed it to feed the borers on the nextlet. That's what I needed it for. Alright. These. I need these. Backing up. Backing up. Need some duralumin. Need that beautiful duralumin. That glorious duralumin. I forget exactly where the duralumin is. Right there. Six would consume 1200 per second on the steam back into water, so that should be plenty enough for this initial setup. Okay, I'm doing this all the way up here. I will need to... Oh gosh, car, no, stop! FTS. Doink, doink, doink. That, and that, that, and that, that, and that. You do produce tar, which is good, because then I could use the tar to feed back into more coal gas. Such a shame that the sprite blocks all these pipes. Remember what I've said before about the closed loop systems. Just get enough in and then close the loop after you have enough in, once things are moving for a bit. Three produces 483, so I only really need 3 for now. Unless I put this behind a overflow. Sorry, not an overflow, a underflow. So why an underflow versus an overflow? The underflow fills this if it is under 80%. If it's over 80% in the pipes, it won't allow water through, which is exactly what I want. I don't want more water coming into the system when the system is already full. And that should theoretically mean that I end up with exactly as much water as is necessary for the loop to loop itself without adding in any additional water, and I could safely remove this once things are moving. I could always be wrong. But, oh, and the other thing, I need to actually run the most important thing, which is the heavy oil. Heavy oil should be very, very close by, seeing as how I ran it to the zinc. Seeing as how it's needed for zinc, it should be up here already. Yeah, it is, in fact, right there. Alright. All of that pipe work should be somewhat sorted. Let's get the coal gas sorted. Get the tar. That is what I need to run next. Tar. What line is tar? I think it's one of these. Tar. Line 4. Looks like I ran it up after niobium a bit. How far up is the question? It was ran up to here for solder. Alright, that means it's relatively close by. Fortunately, since I know that it's line 4, I can bring it out to... Alright, so this is line 2, that is line 4. And just, run it down. There it goes. It has been connected! Granted, now I probably need to overflow valve destroy it, but that will be for another time. Oh, this is still apparently not connected. Alright, there. There you go. You are now connected. Heavy oil. Time to connect you over here. The heaviest of oil. That is now connected, and all that's left is power? No, all that's left is zinc chloride in, and then power. And yeah, I'm not giving zinc chloride its own spot on the bus quite yet. How much am I making? How many are these? 3 per second. This consumes 1.5 per second, so I have 1.5 spare. Oop. There we go. Let there be power. Ooh, funny how the game culls the balloons. It's because the building goes off screen once you go a certain distance away from a building, the game destroys it to reduce the resource load on rendering. So, at least I'm assuming that that's what it's doing, is that it's culling. And the sprite is larger than the actual entity, so once it's culled, you can see the balloons disappear. So that's pretty neat. And then bring power up to these. Oh my, that's a thing. That is a thing. That is flames. That is flames. Burn, burn, burn. And this will be 84.68 extra coal gas for us. That should help considerably. And I'm going to assume that all of my tar is being evacuated. Yes, it is. All of the steam is being evacuated. We've gone through a couple of iterations now, so I will remove my underflow. This is now a fully closed loop with enough water to run things. I am going to, however, keep this sitting here because every time I add to the system, I will need to add additional water into the system to keep things running smoothly. Okay, okay. So, question now is, how is my glass looking? I now have... Looks like it's a little bit more than before, but it's still nowhere near enough. What is going on with my coal gas that is consuming so much of it? Maybe it's the... I don't think it's the syngas pole. If anything, the syngas should be backing up. How's the aluminium looking like? Any more coming? Not particularly. Do I have a stupid flare gas vent? Am I like venting it not behind a overflow valve? Because that could also be a thing that I am doing. Well, anyway, regardless, this will take more work to continue to scale up beyond this point because I would need more heavy oil to do so. Oh, right, that was what I was going to do. That was what I was going to do. I was going to put this heavy oil behind an overflow. Just so that I can make sure that I use the heavy oil for lubricant and other things. We're going to continue this after taking a brief break. I will be back shortly. Alright, I have returned from my break. What in the world am I going to do next? I still have this issue with the coal gas. Do I gasify more tar? Oh look, it's apparently not letting any more through. Huh. Interesting. Am I really using that much heavy oil, or is it just the influence of the pressure from distance? I don't know, maybe a mix of two. Alright, well, so much for that plan. Because I do want this moving. Well then, it appears that I do have a lot more tar than originally anticipated, so I will go and gasify additional tar into coal gas. You know, the whole point of this was to do away with converting the coal gas into converting the tar into coal gas, but you know what? I've got so much tar. Like I've got all the tar on the planet on this map. So I'm going to consume it and use it to make coal gas. 'Cause why not? I've got all of it. All of the tar, and especially now that I have the niobium pipes and it is now easier to move tar around. Hey look, it's another 88 per second of tar, and it's another 60 per second on tar, and it's another, I don't know, where's another tar? Where is another tar? Somewhere. If I was actually paying attention and into, oh look, there's another 107 per second of tar right near my other tar. I don't know if that's actually how the numbers work out, by the way. I don't think so. 65.8. Yeah, that looks about right. Pyanodon hates me for this map, by the way. He really hates me for this map. Just because of how much stuff I've got on it. It's like it's like I have everything. There is nothing that is absent, fully absent on this map, which, yeah, it's great. But then again, I'm also on a scale of over 1,000 chunks. It's like, yeah, sure, I have everything within 2,000 chunks of me, which is reasonable to expect, always, I would imagine. I would imagine that would be a reasonable expectation. So flue gas. So part of the demand on my coal gas is due to converting coal gas to syngas down here. I also happen to be burning that syngas, which I guess I don't need to anymore. I probably don't need to do this anymore. Especially since it looks like the game might sort of be prioritizing this a little bit. My fluid consumption here is relatively high, so what happens when I break this? It's less potential production. Remember that these would only operate at, what's the temp on this? 600? See, at 60%. 60%. in total. So by breaking that, I lose 24.8 by 2 divided by, or no, not divided by, 24.8 by 2 by 0.6, which is 29.76 megawatts. That's all I lose, is the capacity for 29.6 megawatts by removing that pole. Just by removing that demand. I'm gonna want that. I'm not going to really need those. I could use this space for something else at some point. But not right now. So, yeah, that makes sure, that, like, guarantees that I have way more syngas than I will ever know what to do with. So that helps a lot. How much am I pulling in so far? 250 per second on the top. Ooh. Uh-huh. That would help. If that was actually rotated correctly. I don't know when I didn't have that rotated correctly. How long that's been a problem. So now I shouldn't have as high of a pull from my syngas line on the coal gas, because this syngas line is 9 long, consuming 120 per second up to get 210. So ideally, looking back here, they're not all operating. Or are they? Are they? They are definitely more. That is definitely more glass. How about the aluminium? Now the aluminium should be a full belt, so seeing it like this still means that I do need more. How much total tar am I making? Am I tapped into? 80.6.9, 142. .8 plus 1.86. No, 18.6. What am I thinking? 142.8 plus 18.6 plus 3.6 plus 9.1 plus 80.6 plus, that's the 250 by the way, 65.8. 320.5 is what I'm currently tapped into. I can add another 107. I think I'm going to add that extra 107. But if I go to one additional By the way, this is up to 60 per second. That means I'm going to need... Wait, why are... Oh, that's... Why did I add so many? Maybe because I was planning for a much bigger setup. Actually, I think I used to have a much bigger setup. Also, 133, that's 3 gas vents. Not 4. Is that a kitty returning? Yeah, that's a kitty. That's my kitty returning. He's going to be bothering me now because he wants food. Is that right? You want food? Whoops, that's the wrong position. Oh no, you ate food. Okay. That's it. So you're grooming now. Yeah, that's what you just did. You just finished eating, so now you're grooming. There we go. Bring this down. And power it. I said power. Let there be power. Theoretically, that drains all of my tar into coal gas. It increases my coal gas a little bit by another 66 units. Right. I then need to actually attach this coal gas out. So that's another 66 units. 66 and 2/3 units. That should help out a little bit, yeah. Yeah, once all the fluids started really moving. Helps out a little bit on that aluminium and should help out a little bit on this glass too. I can see all of the thingies being lit up now. Not everyone is lit up, but it's a lot better than it was, which is definitely an improvement to be proud of. Okay, what is next? What is next? Ahumma. I also need to make sure that I don't run out of tar for creosote. That would be bad. I'm assuming that between the other stuff that makes tar that's on the system, 90 per second here up to when syngas is not backed up, that it's helping to feed into all of my other processes. Okay, I was working towards batteries at one point, which meant working towards rayon. How about going back to working towards rayon with fiber, urea, sodium carbonate, carbonyl sulfide, ammonia, and sulfuric acid. Well, the ammonia and the sulfuric acid are taken care of. I do believe I put buildings away for this. Or for something. Up here, maybe? Right. No, not you. Here? Yes, here. Don't know exactly what I'm going to really need out of all this, so... Ooh, that is a lot of wood. Maybe I'll hold on to that. Anyway. So rayon is going to need a lot of fiber. Oh, also, since I'm now producing more glass, my tech should go a little bit faster. Not like it really matters right now. I have this tech, the following tech, and then 2 of these. So 4 total techs that I can actually get before being completely stuck. I am likely going to need a lot more long-handed inserters, so I'm going to go back and grab those. It is time to actually hook up all of those kick-elk plantations that I have left stagnating for a few days now. My inserters are right here. Give me all of those, and to make more. Off we go. At least I don't have to guess where this kick-elk line is. At least I don't have to guess. I think I know where my kick-elk line is. I think I know where it is. It is the gigantic spike. The gigantic spike is... The spike is bigger than even the tholin line that I currently have. It's... I mean, heck, my limestone line to feed my aluminium processing is longer than my tholin line. Sheesh. Can I even extend this out to 100? It'd be cutting it pretty close to this zinc. But yes, I think I can fit 100 in there if I really wanted to. Alright, kick elk. Let's do this thing. How much have I set up versus, not? Oh boy. I need to go grab more medium poles. Right quick. Well, at least I know I have enough creosote. Fortunately enough, my medium poles are like right over here, so it's not that big of a problem. I have plenty. Yeah, it's the red science and the glass that gets to the red science that's the current bottleneck. Fortunately, I have more glass now. Alright, Kickalk. Time for lots of belt. Lots and lots of belt! If only I could draw a straight line. 2 straight lines. 3 straight lines, technically, because I have to do the output. And I have to do the water in. Oh joy. Oh bliss. More pipe action. Well, at least I did some work on this. Running belt. At least partially. Still need to assign the recipe, it looks like, to the line. That would be this one. Ew. Just copy paste. Get that recipe going. Aha. Don't even know if that's my correct positioning on those long-handeds, but I'm using them to get the distance I need for this. Okay. By doing this cut and paste, I am able to use the Q button for the pipette tool in order to quickly swap between what's needed to fill in the ghosts. It saves me from having to click down in the hotbar at all. And you can place ghosts a lot farther than you can place the actual items. The the distance for placing ghosts is infinite. And hitting Q gives you the correct orientation as well, which is quite convenient. Hey, I actually did get the correct position. Oh, joy. I actually did get the correct position. That is nice. Now I can run this belt. That should be the last of the inserters on this side. No, it's not, because I've whiffed and forgot that this is supposed to be another 2 inserters on the entire line. Yeah. About that, see? How far back have I been whiffing? Probably the whole time, all the way down to the very end. Yep, all the way down to the very end. Well, while I'm here... guess I can work on this other side. Up we go. This is why I need to get to robots at some point, so that they can do this for me. This is why I really am thinking I should just get nanobots, because that would build this for me and just probably save way more time. Okay. Should be a few more. Only a few more. 4 more, in fact. Gee, and even after grabbing all of the, those long-handeds, still looks like I barely had enough. Alright, that's theoretically everything. Just have to add power. Oh, and the water. Looks like the water's on this side, though. Which I was thinking I should have the water set up on this side. Not done yet. Oh boy. Such thrilling gameplay. I do think I can put these on this side and be okay with the pipes. So why do I need this many kickoff plantations? Well, I'm glad you asked. Asked no one. It's because I need this much in order to cover my current demand, plus the demand that I'll be getting for raw fiber once I set up rayon. Because rayon's going to require 7 per second of fiber, which is going to require a lot of raw fiber. So even though I'm not currently consuming raw fiber, I will be very shortly when I set up my 7 centrifuges to make it into fiber. Now I need to look up the raw fiber again to see how much else it's used for, and if I want to put raw fiber on my bus. Now the fiber I think might only actually really be used for rayon as well, and for maybe one other thing. Oh, hello tech. Been a little while since I've seen you pop up. I keep forgetting that I have set the second row to shortcuts with shift. Shift plus the number or the numbers on the numpad. This should get all the remaining kickalks operating. In case you were wondering how many I have at this point in time, the answer is a lot. Oh right, and I have to, this is making 2 yellow belts. So I have to count to 30. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30! How convenient! Then I need to run it this way. La dee dee da, dee 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 doo, running this up along. Now why would I do that? So let me think. Now let me check things. Always make sure that things are moving and operating and functioning. There's the first batch coming down that line. Things are operational. Do I have... Did I scale my clay yet? That's the next question. Did I scale my clay yet? I don't think so, no. I did not scale my clay yet. I need 20 clay pits in total. I don't remember making any additional clay pits yet. So I need 16, now I need 14. Needs stone. Needs stone. You don't say. 13. 12, 11, 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So the reason why I hadn't made the clay pits yet is because I got incredibly distracted when I was hunting down the stone bricks to build them. That sounds about right. Also, I do not have enough long-handed inserters. Again. Let's go pick even more up. And no, I'm not going to be converting the flue gas into syngas using activated carbon, because I think that my activated carbon is of far, far greater value to me than syngas at the moment. Until such time as I am flooded with activated carbon, which may or may not ever happen. Also, now that my aluminium is flowing again, I should probably see about if I'm actually getting any more of these. I'm not. Oh, aluminium. What did I do? What did I do? What shenaniganery have I done? Oh. That explains things. That explains a lot, actually. That explains a lot. Yeah, I should go fix that immediately. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a plan. A beautiful plan. Get away from the thingy. I really wish there was an immunity equipment for cars. Belt immunity for cars. Sounds like a wonderful idea, actually. Give me this back. While the belt's empty. In fact, I will pick up... Oop. Yeah, definitely want to not have that number. Pick up this middle here. No longer using this entire belt now that I've transferred over to the unslimed iron process. Backed up on unslimed iron. In order for that to be the case, I am probably also backed up on steel. Yeah, so I'm backed up on both lanes of iron and steel. Isn't it glorious? It is glorious. I think it's glorious. Really glorious. This is also going to demand my wood as well on this phosphoric acid. once this aluminium is rolling again, because my aluminium is rolling again. Let's not leave my car behind, thanks. Freaking UPS drops. Do not really understand how my computer is fully capable of handling a base that's a couple of gigawatts with angels and bobs and space extension installed and not have any UPS dips whatsoever. And yet this mod running very few, relatively few buildings, chugs. It chugs. And I have a feeling it has everything to do with smoke. The smoke effects on buildings. I did make 16, right? Yes, I did. Good. Good. So with these, even though it doesn't visually indicate as such on the inputs for Steam, they are two-way inputs for the Steam. So you don't actually need any pipe connecting the Steam. It will flow through these buildings. I don't know why the graphic isn't being pulled for the two-way indicator. Maybe that's a thing that needs to be defined. That isn't defined as such in the mod itself. But it's a thing that exists. You simply do not need to add the pipes, as long as they are all contiguous. Now, 20 is 500 per second on Steam. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is enough to cover my requirements. I will do the proper copy and paste this time. Boink, 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 boink. Fortunately, this one's a lot faster because it's only 16 more buildings. And they don't have any inputs. Why did I put the power on that side when the inserters are on this side? I have no idea. That sounds like a me thing to do. Once I get to substations, though, speaking of substations, that's going to be a blue tech, blue science tech. What are my substations going to cost me? Super steel. Dare I ask? Super steel is the next step up above stainless steel, for reference. Scares me already without even looking at the recipe. Yes. Yes, I agree. I agree. So, super steel, it's made from molten super steel, aramid, and sand castings. Aramid, if you're making stainless steel, you already have aramid. Molten super steel should be made out of molten stainless steel. So I'm already imagining, yes, molten stainless steel is required for molten super steel. It will need niobium, it will need molybdenum, it will need titanium. All of those we already have. It will need silicon, which, if I'm not mistaken, we need to make anyway for silicon wafers on the circuit 2 chain for the doped silicon stuff that's required for the diodes, microchips, and transistors. So silicon you should already have at that point. Fuel rods are made in a couple of different ways. That's going to require uranium. That is going to require uranium. And processing uranium. Grade 2 uranium from grade 1. From ore. Yeah. Yeah, uranium. So that's going to need uranium. Uranium to do super steel. Wow. Okay. To do molten super steel. For the fuel rods. And then you need vanadium oxide. Now, something tells me that vanadium oxide is probably going to be the pain in the rear. That's probably going to be the big one. That is a lot of tar. That is a lot of tar. Silver zinc alloy, you can make. I can make. I have silver. I have zinc. I have refined syngas. That's fine. Vanadium. Oh boy. By that point we could have the particle accelerator. So we could straight up convert chromium into vanadium oxide. Or titanium. Because the particle accelerator is advanced small parts and circuit board 2s. So you sort of already, at that point at Blue Science, you could do that, although it's really slow, it looks like. Looks like it's really, really slow. Alright. So that, as they say, is that. So 7 centrifuges. Making fiber. How do I want to do this is, the question. And yes, these are the same centrifuges that will process uranium, into U-238 and, U-235 a bit later on. So... 7 per second from 7 centrifuges to make 2.8 per second of the fiber, and some organic matter that I will be converting directly into carbon dioxide. That's what I'm going to be using the organic matter for. So, I need over 7 for what I'm currently using it for. How many of these do I have right now? 6. 6, consuming 6. What is 6 plus 4.2? That's 10.2. See, I'm trying to avoid needing 2 belts on my bus. I'm trying to avoid needing 2 belts on my bus. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like I can do that. I can avoid that. I need a space. I'm going to do this here. Well, why here? Actually, you know what? Fiber, that's what I was going to look for. Only used in rayon and microfiber. Which means it's not worth busing, sadly. Raw fiber, on the other hand, is used in a fair bit of stuff. So quite clearly I am overproducing. I don't need 30 per second. I don't need 30 per second, as it turns out. Well, let's move 15 onto the bus. That is the first line. That is the second line. Let's see, what line are we on next? Have I done anything next to drill heads? I don't think so. The next one is the one right next to my drill heads. So this is the line that I wish to draw. That is the third line. There we go. Let me grab a vehicle and some more belt. That would be ideal. Vehicle. And more belt. Beautiful aluminium. Moving along yet again. That follow robot count is almost risen up. So many things. So many things that I'm bussing. And yet, once everything goes to being robot-based, it'll go crazy and haywire, and yeah, it won't look the same. It'll be a mix of random crap shoved everywhere as close together as possible to reduce flight distance. I don't really care for using robots that much because every time I use them, everything just ends up looking like boxes. Setups that look like squares. Lots and lots of packed squares. That's all it ends up becoming. Alright, so where am I going to do this? Good luck doing a whole round the setup right there. Here? Yeah, I guess I can do my fiber there at the very least. Out of the car. Centrifuges. By the way, have I been making... Yes, I have. Hello, tiles. Centrifuge. Doot. Pave the planet. Yes, the planet shall be paved in tiles that are incredibly loud footfalls when you walk on them. Oh, right. Wow, I am off today on my spacings. Good luck figuring this one out. Pretty sure that this is how this goes. Just have to wait on the fiber to come up. Get some power going. That will be that. The rayon is in a pulp mill. Probably have at least one hanging out somewhere or other. Rayon. Glorious rayon. Oh boy. I'm gonna need to bring urea on the bus as well. So remember when I said 2.5? Yeah, 7 to hit 2.5. Then it's urea and sodium carbonate. I should have the sulfuric. I don't think I'm bossing the sulfuric per se at the moment. Oh, right, there's... I should not do this. I should not do this. No, no, no. No, 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 no. This produces two things. You. Where the heck am I gonna put this? Where the heck will this go? Ugh. If I had built just a couple tiles lower. That is a lot of pipes. Oddly enough, I'm going to have to make these. This carbonyl sulfide. And the sodium carbonate out of sodium sulfate out of sodium bisulfate. Oh joy, oh bliss, oh wonderful, beautiful things. You. This consumes 2.5. How much is being made? 4.2. Okay, I need 2 of these. What? That's random underground. Pipe to ground. Alright, now we should back up on the fiber. For now. Yeah, I'll bring in one other thing here. So I can belt in the urea at the moment, and then I'll have to set up the sodium carbonate. I can bring in ammonia at any point. Theoretically, I shouldn't do this if I want to scale this at all going outwards, but considering how much it takes to make rayon in the first place, I'm probably not going to deal with any more than one of these. So, it is about that time to end off the stream for today. what got accomplished today. What got done? Well, today I primarily expanded my power generation, which it looks like I'm having issues with. Apparently not enough of something here. I guess my math was wrong on the stuffs. Fluid consumption versus production. I have 6 of these. 5 of these. It should be 1-to-1. Anyway. Oh, and it looks like I am now officially just not getting enough. So, even though I expanded my power, I need to go expand power even more. So don't mind me when we do that next time and expand power up here. I hooked up my kick-alk line today fully. And it can be fed with the clay, as much clay as it needs. I removed power generation here out of fuel oil because I am now converting heavy oil into coal gas. Yes, I'm now converting heavy oil into coal gas in an effort to get more coal gas because we didn't quite have enough to feed the aluminium or the glass down here. Not down here, right here. So now we're making a bit more glass and aluminium now that all that's fixed, but it does appear as if I got a little bit overzealous with my removal of power generation via syngas. Looks like I sorta needed to have that going. Although I don't quite get why this is consuming all of the combustion mixture. So, anyway, I'll have to figure that out later. Oh, I think it might have something to do with the amount of, coke coming in. Yeah, that explains a lot, actually. That actually explains a lot, because I run the coke past this thing first. Yeah, that's right. I did that. Anyway, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. I will be back on Sunday, where we will be working on the rayon after taking care of these power issues. And yeah, I will see you all then.